before we get to, I am bearing the lead because I'm saving this one movie that I really love for last. But that movie is not Red Rooms. It is a movie called Don't Turn Out the Lights. I will preface this by saying I love Andy Fickman as a director. Race to Witch Mountain. A year ago, he did a movie called One True Loves, which I liked. It starred Philippa Sue and Simu Liu, and I think Luke Bracey. Like that. Nice escapist rom-com fare. This time he tries his hand at horror, which is a complete surprise because you're thinking Andy Fickman, just studio director, he hasn't done a horror thriller, and this is not just him directing the movie. I believe I looked on IMDb. This might be one of his first, if not his debut as a feature film screenwriter as well as a director for Don't Turn Out the Lights.
Nice.
Yeah, so definitely, well, it's nice because props to Andy Fickman for getting this off the ground. But does this movie ultimately work? I'm gonna preface this by I'm not gonna give it 3-star banger. I'm gonna give it a generous 3 stars for me because of a couple of major factors. Now let's get to Don't Turn On the Lights. Don't Turn Out the Lights. So here's a plot. Quote, reuniting for an unforgettable weekend, a group of friends take a break from their separate lives and they at college to travel via an RV to a musical festival. The musical festival, it's I believe called Blue Light, the Blue Light Musical Festival. There, it sounds like AmFad, right, Eric? Their exciting weekend plans quickly unravel as they find themselves fighting to survive each other and the unknown. Again, written and directed by Andy Fickman. So that's a simple plot, right? Nubile, college students, their friends, take an RV, going to the music fest. What do you think is going to happen on the fest, along the fest, Eric Holmes? What are some of the things? What are
A bunch of people will die.
Oh, very good, Eric, because a bunch of people will die. Right, that's correct. There's also, who knows, they're driving in the middle of nowhere, so they're going to meet people who are very unfriendly. They meet a couple of truckers who are not the nicest people in the world at a gas station, and that those truckers terrorize them. There's a biker gang at a remote restaurant off the road, off the beaten path road, and they're not the nicest people as well. So the ambiance is there. But how long should these type of movies be? These road trip slasher horror thrillers. If you were a director, usually
Uh, go for 90 minutes or under.
90 minutes or under? Yes. Second correct answer you gave, Eric Holmes. This movie is 118 minutes. 118 minutes for a movie that should have been, in my opinion, like Eric Holmes says, 90 minutes or less. All of those things I set up for you are intriguing. Andy Fickman does a good job at setting up the bikers, the mean truckers. There is a road situation. Some of the visual scenes are really well done. A couple of the kills are well done as well. So on the surface level, I enjoyed parts of this movie, which is the reason why I'm giving this movie a mild recommend. The only problem is the length. You needed 30 minutes away, 30 minutes off of this. Okay. You just have a lot of these grown-ups playing teenagers, right? Playing college students who are stuck in this RV. Eventually, the RV gets stuck in the middle of nowhere, middle of the road, and everything around them is pitch black. There's something supernatural in the forest that is out to get them. This supernatural being, possibly it has various different powers that will make them see things. Ultimately, a lot of them, one by one, they are being killed. That's also a good premise. Again, it needed a 30-minute, well, at least 20, yeah, 30 minutes. It needed 30 minutes to be cut from its runtime because when they're in the RV talking about, there is one sequence where a couple of the college students, friends, they're talking about how this might be some elaborate prank that's being pulled on them. I understand you're trying to throw us off, but you're just adding to the screen time. That's a 4 to 5 minute conversation that, my opinion, is really not necessary. Just
Hmm.
plus these
I,
are
I
the,
I would say like so you're saying that it should be 90 minutes because of
it
like
should
what
be
it is,
tighter.
but
Yeah,
but at the
tighter.
same time, like you can make a movie like this that's 2 hours. You just need to like you're gonna fill out. And this is the problem I
Yes,
have with
correct.
kind of like the indie porn movies where they're just like staring at walls the whole time and not talking. It's like for some, sometimes that works. You get like a situation like a ghost story where that downtime lets you like reflect on things.
Sure, or
But
take a
then
breather. Yeah, yeah.
at other times, like, it's just we're watching a door close for 5 minutes. Move this along now, please.
I will tell this, right, Andy Fickman, he is also very good at comedy. Okay.
Yeah,
So he intentionally makes all of these characters annoying. These are some of the most annoying
I mean,
characters I've ever seen in Oh, I know that's a
I mean,
trope.
I mean,
That's
I
part of the
mean,
trope. Right. I know that's funny.
watching annoying characters die, like it watching them be annoying is so aggravating to watch. But then when they die, it's like the release. It's like, oh, it was all worth it.
It was all worth it. I don't have to listen to them again, right? Okay, good, good, Eric. I like that rebuttal. Very good rebuttal.
You're actually selling me on this. I think I might go back and watch this one.
Okay. When you have look, actually, I would love to hear. We have so much movies to cover. I don't know if you'll have the time, but if you do have the time, we still have the link. So check it out. Look, Andy Fickman does a really good job as a director, setting a lot of this stuff up. Also, the final act, I will say this, well executed. Final act is
Nice.
well executed. So this is what Bruce gave it a way lower rating than I'm giving it right now with a 3 stars for the mild recommend. There was one more thing other than the length, the annoying characters. Oh, look, I understand movies that are horror films, there's going to be a lot of screams. And this is the most screams I've ever experienced in a movie. And on top of them being annoying, there's so many annoying screams in this movie that I felt like my eyes and ears were bleeding. So that was really annoyed me. But
I mean, wasn't that it's been a while since I've seen Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Been a couple, like probably 2, 3 years maybe. But I seem to remember a lot of screaming in that, like nonstop. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else.
yes, Eric, very good. Eric's
When
on his Eric's on the
when people are in peril, they scream, and
what
it's
thank you,
definitely
Eric.
annoying. But
Eric Holmes, this is not the Eric Holmes case. This is not the Goldman case. This is don't turn out the lights. And I'm glad for the rebuttal. This is going to give you that leeway to actually, because again, Bruce
yeah,
was even harsher on this movie. If you do find that little corner of time within the next 7 days, we would love a rewind for you for Don't Turn Out the Lights. Again, which hits theaters and VOD September 6th. It would be interesting. I think Eric's review will be very value added because maybe he can again, I'm giving it 3 stars. So this is ultimately a positive review because of Andy Fickman is a talented filmmaker. He made these screams and these annoying characters highly intentional because and it's referenced at the end of the movie, but for me to actually witness them scream and be annoying for 2 hours tested my patience. Did not test my patience enough for me to downgrade this movie to a not recommend. I do slightly recommend Don't Turn Out the Lights. Again, theaters and VOD September 6th.